right, everyone, welcome to Brothers and Boss Battles bonus levels. This is an offshoot of our main podcast, Brothers and Boss Battles, a video game showdown. In these bonus levels, we will be discussing things like video game drafts and other fun little items, lists and such things like that. We've recently completed our category 3 game reviews on the Brothers Most Hours Played games, and we're having our throwdown episode on that next week. But in the interim, we thought we'd release this bonus levels episode to talk about other games where we've had the most hours played outside of those 3 games of Madden, SMITE, and Super Smash Brothers. So, we hope you enjoy it. And, all right, guys, let's get started. Pete and Tom, my brothers, are here. I'm Anthony, for those of you that don't know. All right, most hours played, other than the 3 aforementioned games. Who wants to start us off?
I'll start. So I have these broken up into 3 different categories. So the first one being online multiplayer games, which, innately tend to lend themselves well to playing over and over again. So I want to start off with one that has to be at the top. Now, if there was a personal most hours played category that didn't involve all 3 of us collectively, this one probably would have made my top 3 or whatever. But so that game is Final Fantasy XIV. So I play this on PS4 / PS5. And something that the console does is it keeps track of the hours for you. So I do have the total for this one, and I could reveal that right now, and it's 1,360 hours.
Wow. That was the online MMO?
Yeah. So it's a MMO, and basically those games never end. They just keep adding content, and you have to keep replaying the same content to get better gear and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely a big time suck.
Wow, it's over 1,000 hours.
Yeah, that's a lot. I mean, I don't know that I have anything close to that outside of like the games we've mentioned before. One series that I will say I have definitely hundreds upon hundreds of hours, if not reaching that 1,000 mark, is the MLB The Show series. Probably starting, I think I started the recent MLB The Show, maybe 2019, the one with Bryce Harper on the cover. I think that was 2019. So anyway, I mean that, it's a great baseball simulator. Yeah, 2019 was the one with Bryce Harper. So I think I took a year off, like between 19 and 24. But for the most part, I've been playing it every year, and I really like it. Baseball is my favorite sport, the only sport I really love, and it's a great simulator. I like playing people online. It's got some other pretty cool modes as well, storylines and moments which are cool to relive from the season and years past. And I just love the whole concept of getting baseball cards essentially to build your team from, everywhere from Babe Ruth to the current superstars. So it's a favorite of mine, a game that I try to get on release date every year, if not a little bit earlier on some of the pre-order specials, and definitely some of the most hours played for me.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, some of the games that I spent the most hours on were the baseball games. So, I mean, we're talking a little before 2019 here, but I know MVP Baseball 4 and 5, and then Heat Baseball. Like Kurt Schilling was on the cover for 2 or 3 years, I think.
Oh yeah.
So all of those going back to Triple Play 99 on PlayStation. So definitely baseball for me too. But I want to kind of change gears now. And you mentioned, Ant, that you probably didn't have a game that approached the 1,000 hour plus that Tom had.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have a game that's multiple thousands of hours that I've played. I did the math. And we actually covered this game on the podcast, Pokemon Go. Like just playing for 20 minutes a day for, almost every day, estimated 300 days out of the year. I played it for multiple years. I mean, that's just thousands on thousands of hours. So I think that might take the cake.
Yeah, that's a good
I guess.
Even though it's not a real game.
Yeah. I mean,
it's augmented real.
Yeah. I have to say, I mean, and it's probably, I think there are probably games from the NES or maybe Sega PlayStation 1 era that we probably played a ton of hours, which isn't a real measurement, but like, because I don't know, it just seemed like us and everyone had like less games back then. Like, games were less accessible as far as, no Game Pass and no cloud-based gaming and none of that. So it just feel like, you had to go out, get a game.
And you replay it a lot. A bunch of times.
Like those really hard like games where if you were to run through it flawlessly, it would take you maybe 45 minutes to beat. But because they were so difficult, especially in like the NES days, you play it for a lot more time than that. So, I'm just trying to think of some from back then that we may have played a lot. I mean, there were certainly games. I don't think it comes close to like thousands of hours, but we had TurboGrafx 16 and we played like Bonk a lot and like stuff like that. And how many times must we have popped in Mario 3? I mean, it's like Super Mario 3 for the Nintendo. Like that's just a game you just always play, and
especially if you start accumulating the hours for the three of us combined. Yeah. But so the games that we covered on the podcast are all games that we played multiplayer together. So I feel like there were a handful of other games like that, especially growing up, that we played. Not as much as those three games, but quite a bit. Right. So one that comes to mind to me, and this is a series again, but Twisted Metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Twisted Metal 3 was really the one that we played a lot.
Yeah.
Like, couch competitive.
Yeah, we played Twisted Metal. I feel like Twisted Metal Black a lot. And I think I played 2 a lot.
Yeah, I played 2 a lot too. I think 2 maybe it was only 2 players.
Yeah, that one I think you could do co-op on the campaign though.
So maybe you're right. Yeah, we did that a lot. That was our introduction to Twisted Metal. And Twisted Metal Black, did that have the multiplayer also? So I know I played that single player a lot.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it also had a co-op campaign.
Yeah, those are real fun games.
Yeah, Twisted Metal's good. Yeah, like you mentioned, I think like the sports games are always going to kind of be up there.
Yeah, the WWF/WWE SmackDown games we played a lot of too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We kind of had like a little league in that too, right? I mean,
yeah, I think at one point we kind of like drafted wrestlers, and
it was a lot less involved than our Super Smash Bros. League though.
I'm just looking back at like, how the systems will give you a year-end review and stuff like that. So like, I'm looking at one back from 2022, and look, again, not approaching 1,000 hours, but for a single game, I feel like this is a lot of hours. I have 135 hours logged in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's a very big open world Assassin's Creed game with a lot of side missions and things like that. And I'm a pretty big fan of the Assassin's Creed series. So, and I like Greek mythology. So that one kind of held my attention. But, just thought I'd throw that one out. Just as a single player game, I feel that's a lot of hours.
Yeah, it is. For me, I feel like a single player game that I had the most hours on is probably Donkey Kong 64. So we 102%, or was it 102 or 101?
101, I think.
101. And that was like 75 hours. And then I played it a second time, probably another 30 hours or so. And then even just playing like the mini game with the rhino that we discussed on our very first episode, I played that a ton too. So, it's probably approaching the 130 hours that you had on Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I could throw a single player game into the mix too, and it's a more recent one, and that is Elden Ring.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
and that also has a DLC that released last year, which I played and finished. I actually got the platinum trophy in Elden Ring.
Ooh.
So, yeah, I had to put a lot of hours in for that. So it actually totaled 193 between the base game and the DLC.
Yeah, so I mentioned Pokemon Go, but what about Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow? I feel like me and Tom, for sure, we must have played through that
Definitely.
maybe
Yeah.
close to 100 times each, probably.
Yeah. And we
But
had our own Pokemon League.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah. That was for
Well, we
spanning multiple generations, though, right?
Yeah,
Right,
'cause they
yeah.
had where you could like bring
Transfer, yeah.
Generation 3 into 4, and
also Pokemon Stadium, the tandem with that, you could transfer, right? Did that start with Gold and Silver, or were you able to do Blue, Red, and Yellow into Pokemon Stadium?
Yeah, the original Pokemon Stadium was with
Red,
the
Blue,
Gen
Yellow.
1 games.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So I think just Pokemon Stadium then made us play those Pokemon games more because we were leveling up our characters to then. I think we were the goal was just so it was as equal a fight as possible is to get everyone to the same level, whatever that was. Was it 99 or was it 50 or whatever it was? But so that required a lot of grinding. So even if we weren't
Yeah.
playing the game portion of the game, we were still turning that game on a ton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got him to level 100.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, whatever it was. Yeah, so that made
It's a
so
lot
many
of
hours.
of
If there was a calculation of those hours of turning on Pokemon Red and Blue or Silver and Gold or whatever it was, that was the second gen, right?
Gold and Silver. Yeah.
Yeah. Then that had to approach a very high number, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even just Gen 1. I mean, if you count all the generations, not that we played all of them, but then,
yeah.
A lot of beating the Elite Four over and over again.
Yes.
Yeah. Not to steal your guys' thunder, because I know you guys like this game more than me, and it almost made our main category of most hours played, and we switched it out in one of the games that we eventually did, but was the Rock Band series. That's like the true honorable mention of this category, I feel, for us.
Yeah, I agree.
And probably for you guys a little bit more than me, but I also played it a ton with you guys, but probably not even quite as much as you guys did.
Yeah. Yeah, so it started with Guitar Hero, but then we preferred Rock Band a lot more, so we played that a ton. I remember Tom and I, like, one summer, it was like our job, like, it's 10 a.m., gotta turn on Rock Band and see if we could beat our high score. Like,
you guys got pretty good.
Yeah, that was during summer break from college one year. Instead of getting, internships. Or, part-time jobs.
Yeah, that was so fun. And then they had, hundreds of songs DLC that you could kind of get your favorite songs.
Yeah, I remember they had the Green Day DLC and then the Beatles DLC.
Well, that wasn't DLC. Those are separate games.
Oh, separate games.
Yeah.
DLC, they just added like so many songs, like just one-off songs,
Oh, right.
or sometimes full albums, but
yeah.
But
that obviously had a huge following, and now it's like no one ever hears of it anymore. Like that had such a meteoric rise and then fall.
Yeah, I wonder if they could do that online, right? There's no reason why they shouldn't be able to do that.
I don't know. Some of those inputs over like not the best connection, I feel like might be tough.
Yeah, you could say that with a lot. You could say that with MLB The Show too. Like,
yeah, I feel like you don't really need and this is like from more of like a technical conversation, but like, if I'm playing the drums in my home, it doesn't really need to sync up to, like, I mean, my hits on the drum don't really need to sync up to like the guitar player or whatever.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
So that latency, if that's technically possible, I mean, I don't.
The biggest problem was the equipment that you needed, the instruments. And they really weren't that durable, but also, they're expensive. They take up a lot of room, But it was really fun.
Yeah. The drums, I like for the listeners, like I played drums in real life and like I just could not get it on Rock Band. Like it was weird. It's just like, I mean, not that I'm like a great drummer, but like I can play drums a little bit. And it's like, I don't know, on the Rock Band set, I just couldn't do it. Not on any of the more difficult songs anyway.
Yeah. You gotta practice more.
Mm.
So another kind of multiplayer game that we played a lot as a kid. I'm curious what you guys think about this. Putting it in this episode here. What about Mario Party? I feel like we played that a lot.
I guess if you count the whole series.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what we oddly didn't play a lot? And not that fits into the category, but just because I feel like we didn't play Mario Kart as much as like other people did.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's just weird because it's like, I don't know. But anyway, Mario Party. Yeah, we played Mario Party a bunch. I don't remember exactly. I guess the original ones were on N64, and we really didn't play that. We had mentioned in a prior episode, like, we got N64 pretty late, like, in the game, and then, like, I also wasn't playing as much games in that era, I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, but then for GameCube.
Yeah, I feel like
maybe.
Those we played more together. I don't know. For some reason, N64, I barely ever played that. So I think the first 3 are on N64, so it was probably Mario Party's post Mario Party 3 that we played more.
Yeah, I remember playing that with them a lot.
Yeah.
Once we got to like the GameCube era.
Yeah.
Anyone have anything else?
Yeah, I got one. So I was thinking Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 specifically.
Again, you guys particularly.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I played that a lot. Actually, Pro Skater 3, I think I played a ton and got fairly high percentage of completion in that game.
Yeah, 2 was always the most memorable one for me, but yeah, I remember just like kind of doing everything. I think you could unlock Spider-Man or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, those are great games that I because I'm not a huge single player gamer.
Yeah.
And Tony Hawk was definitely a game that I played by myself a lot too.
And you guys played Ren and Stimpy, Stimpy's Invention a lot.
Oh yeah,
which we covered on our main episode, our main show.
We must have beat that like 100 times. But
yeah, it's
so short. It's a
half-hour game, so it's like
it was the
most
one
times
game, one game that we could actually beat back then. Instead of playing Contra or Battletoads.
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, a lot of those wrestling games, though, were also part of it. Like you mentioned SmackDown, but I feel like we played Raw. Was it Raw a lot, too? Or
I think at one point it meant to like SmackDown versus Raw.
Yeah.
But it was still like the SmackDown series.
Right.
Yeah, but even the earlier games, Warzone and Attitude was the second one.
Warzone, that was the one I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, we played all
I don't know.
fun.
And I don't know, like, hours-wise, but, like, we mentioned this in like prior episodes or parts of it, but like those 3 main arcade games that we would play whenever we went to an arcade, like X-Men, the arcade game, Turtles in Time, and the Simpsons arcade game. I feel like if you added all of those up, we wound up with a lot of hours at those games.
Yeah, it's a good call. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how many hours, but it just spanned the
very
years
long.
And years.
Yeah. Those are always classics.
And do you guys have any more solo player games?
I played and beat Final Fantasy VII a few times. One time, like, getting the Knights of the Round and, like, all of the high-level summonses that you don't otherwise have to get to beat it. So, like, I feel like that was probably, over 100 hours at least just on that game. So, that one's a pretty high one for me, I would say.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing for Final Fantasy VIII. I played through it a bunch of times, and I think every time I pretty much did every side quest and got every triple triad card. So
yeah, those games are just inherently long. So if you played those games more than once in your life, it's gonna rack up the hours.
Man, I was going to mention how I beat Final Fantasy X once.
Well, yeah, but that's a shorter one. Like 7, 8,
Yeah,
9
maybe.
were kind of like longer, and then like maybe post 10.
10 can be long if you get all the
Yeah.
weapons, well, like what are they called? Like the best weapons, basically, for each
Yeah,
character.
I don't know if I did everything, but I definitely did more than the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And then what was the sport in that game?
Blitzball.
Blitzball. I remember I played that a lot. I remember.
Yeah, that was fun. I
Like
replayed it on PS3. They did like a remaster or something, so I ended up replaying it, and again, I went for all the best weapons, and I think for Wakas, you have to play a lot of Blitzball.
Yeah.
Did you learn the eject shot?
Yeah, I did, and it was like super OP.
Yeah, so I'm going through my list. I think that's pretty much. I think we've covered everything between the three of us that I had.
Yeah, I mean,
I got a few that I didn't play with you guys. It was more online multiplayer stuff that I played with my friends, but I'll just rattle them off real quick. So first one, Rainbow Six Siege.
I remember that. Seeing you online with your friends playing.
Yeah. So I had 449 hours on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, another one of those games where it's been around for years and they just keep adding content to it.
Yeah.
Keep it fresh. So next up is Monster Hunter World. Had 210 hours on that. That's like a really grindy game too, where you kind of like replay a lot of hunts. And the last one I wanted to mention, and this is actually like the first game that I played, I think, online, and that's Battlefield Bad Company 2 on the PS3. That was a big like war game, like with a lot of players on each side with like big maps, and you have to cover a lot of ground and do objectives and stuff. So that was fun.
What about Rocket League?
Yeah, that one. That
feel
one
like
I
you played
had.
that a lot.
I had over 200 hours on that one, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you said it early on. Like a lot of these, like we've mentioned games that aren't online games, but I feel like these online games sort of lend themselves to it. Like, and it sort of triggered my memory. I think Battlefront, the Star Wars, like the newer ones, probably Battlefront 1 more so than the second one. I logged a ton of hours in.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. And that we played a bit together.
Yeah. And then what about like For Honor? I mean, you probably had more than me because you also played with your friends, but we were playing that together too.
Yeah, I checked. That was about like 80 hours.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Yeah, that game got. It was fun. It was pretty fun at first, but it got kind of unfun pretty quick.
Yeah, Battlefront was definitely on. I was playing that a lot. I don't think I have my hours, but that was a good one. All right. I think that's all I have.
Yeah, that's all I had. Maybe this gives.
Without stretching the list. To
Yeah.
unrecognizable levels.
Hopefully that gives the listeners some idea about our gaming history and gaming interests.
Yeah, and so we hope you liked it, listeners. Check out our Brodown episode next week, where we'll be discussing the 3 games in our most hours played mainline games, which were, again, Smite, Madden, and Super Smash Brothers. Check us out on Instagram at X at Bros Boss Battles, also on Twitch and YouTube. Check out our website, brothersandbossbattle.com, and leave us a message wherever you get this podcast. Hope you enjoyed. Take care, everyone.